Hey, Ryan here, Silly Reviews. A helpful little tutorial for Windows, but this also works on Linux as well. This happened to me on both operating systems, but I'm fooling with Windows right now, which is way more popular. If you plug in an old hard drive, you can see here, this is a USB micro, which means this enclosure is crazy old, and it is. Got this old 32 gigabyte drive. I use that specifically to back up a folder of data for a family member. And I really should update it to something new and fresh. Regardless, I plug this into the laptop I'm using right now, which is running Windows, and nothing comes up. If I go to look at my drives, show you here. If I go to look at, let's see, we go to this PC. All right. Okay, it's not showing up on the list of drives. And that may make you think the drive is dead, something is wrong. That isn't the case. What happens is you need to assign a drive letter to the hard drive or the disk drive or the thumb drive, whatever it is you're plugging in, and then you go to look here and it doesn't show up. So I'm going to assign it a drive letter, and it's pretty easy. And now when you plug this thing into the computer, it will show up. So what letter is not assigned on here? The letter K isn't assigned right here. This is what you do. You need to pull up disk management. Disk management. How do you find that? So on here, if I type DSK into the Windows search, DSK, disk management will show up. Well, it's not showing up the way I thought it would, but if I know how to get there. If I hit create and format hard disk partitions, it'll bring you to disk management. There it is. That's what you want, is disk management. However you can get there, get there. So if you look through these things, whatever you're using that is being picked up by the computer, and you can click on it and view the files and stuff, whatever you plug in, it'll have a letter, right? So Windows is running off this SSD, which is assigned drive C. Drive C, right, is usually your operating system. And then I have this 2 gig external plugged in that has the letter T assigned to it. And I did that manually. I get a T because it is all my TV shows. So we look again. I've got a 16 gig SD card plugged in here, and that has a drive letter. I can look at the files. That one's T. No, I'm sorry, that was G. But if we scroll down and we're looking for one that's approximately 32 gigabytes, which is the size of this drive, we go down here, and there it is. Disk 4, 27.94 gigabytes. That's this 32 gigabyte drive. It's never going to come up. Like if you buy a 64 gig flash drive, it's never going to show up to 64 gigs. Same deal with 32 gigabyte old ass drive that I have here. But that's the one we need to assign it a drive letter, and then we'll be able to access the files on it. So what you do is select it with a left click, hit it with a right click. You can go to change drive letter and paths. You see it has no drive letter, it has no path. So we'll hit add, and it'll automatically just assign something that's not in use, which would be drive letter F. I always wonder if I have a different drive that I plug in that was assigned letter F, but it's not plugged in right now. So I usually jump down the list. So K is the letter that I like. If we assign it the letter K, it is now going to be, when you look in this PC and you go to look for this drive K will now be here. And it does have a name already, 32 gigabyte thin, because back in the day, this old hard drive was considered thin, and that's how you can access the files on a drive you plug in, and it doesn't show up in this PC on Windows. And the same thing works on Linux too. I have Linux Mint installed on a separate boot, and it's a little bit of a different procedure, but it's the same thing. You have to assign it a drive letter, and that's really all there is to it. So I hope this helps you out when you're in a situation where you plug in a hard drive, a thumb drive, an external drive into your computer, and it doesn't show up, it doesn't pop up, it doesn't read, you can't find it, you can't look at the files. This is what you do: assign it a drive letter. There you go. Thanks for watching.